Wealth isn't something you stumble upon. It doesn't magically appear in your bank account one morning like a gift from the universe. And despite what social media wants you to believe, it's not about luck, lottery tickets, or some secret investment hack. No, wealth is built carefully, intentionally, and above all, disciplined. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, if you're constantly stressed about bills, or you feel like no matter how hard you work, you're stuck in the same place, then it's time to face a hard truth. Life doesn't pay you for effort. It pays you for strategy. It rewards those who live by principles, not those who chase after quick wins and empty dreams. You see, most people aren't poor because they're lazy. They're not stuck because they lack intelligence. They're trapped by their habits. They spend without thinking. They avoid planning. And worst of all, they hope that something or someone will come and save them. But let me tell you something that changed my life. Hope is not a strategy. Jim Rohn, one of the most influential voices in personal development, didn't come from money. At 25, he was broke, frustrated, and lost. But what changed everything wasn't a raise or a lucky break. It was the adoption of rules. Not tips, not tricks. Rules, guiding principles that he followed with unwavering consistency. And those rules took him from broke to financially free. This video isn't just about inspiration, it's about application. It's not here to make you feel good for a few minutes and then go back to the same habits. It's here to give you a new blueprint, one that, if followed, could alter the direction of your entire financial future. You're about to learn 7 rules that changed Jim Rohn's life, and if you let them, they can change yours too. These rules are not complex. In fact, they're shockingly simple. But don't let that fool you. They are powerful. Because in a world full of noise and confusion, simplicity is clarity. And the most powerful truth, you don't need more money to start. You just need to think differently about the money you already have. The journey to wealth doesn't start when you make 6 figures. It starts the moment you choose to take control. So if you're ready to break free from the cycle of financial stress, if you're ready to stop waiting and start building, then get ready. Because rule number 1 will lay the foundation for everything else to come. Here's the truth that most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. You don't get rich by how much you make. You get rich by how much you keep. It sounds simple, almost too simple. And that's exactly why most people ignore it. We've been conditioned to believe that income is everything. That if we just earn more, we'd finally feel free. But the reality is, it's not your income that traps you. It's your lifestyle. It's spending every dollar that comes in and then some, trying to look successful instead of becoming it. Jim Rohn understood this early on. When he was broke and trying to turn his life around, he didn't start by chasing a raise or building a business. He started by learning to live below his means. That's when he adopted the principle that would become the foundation of his wealth, the 70-30 rule. Here's how it works. Whatever you earn, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000, you only live on 70% of it. 10% goes to saving, your safety net. 10% to investing, your path to growth. And 10% to giving, your test of character. Let's break that down. The 70% for living is what you use to pay your rent, your groceries, your gas, your daily expenses. You learn to make it work. You don't inflate your lifestyle every time you earn a little more. You stay steady. Because wealth is built under the surface, not in what others can see. The 10% saving is your cushion. It's what keeps you calm when the car breaks down or the job disappears. Most people wait for a crisis to think about saving, but by then it's too late. When you save consistently, you gain a quiet confidence. You're no longer scared of life's curveballs, you're prepared for them. The 10% investing, that's where the magic happens. You plant those dollars like seeds into real estate, into stocks, into your own skills, and over time they begin to grow. Not immediately, but steadily, patiently. And that's the secret most people never experience, money working for them. And then there's the 10% giving, the part most people overlook. But Jim Rohn said this is where your heart is tested. Because if you can give when you have little, you've proven yourself ready to receive more. Giving isn't just charity, it's an act of faith. It says, I believe there's more where that came from. And that belief, that mindset, is the foundation of abundance. Living on less than you earn is not punishment, it's power. It gives you control. It frees you from paycheck slavery. And more importantly, it trains your mind to think long term, to resist impulse, and to act with intention. So ask yourself, are you spending every dollar you make? Are you chasing the illusion of wealth or actually building it? Because rule number 1 is clear. Discipline today creates freedom tomorrow. And if you can't manage $1,000 wisely, don't expect to handle $100,000 any better. Imagine this. Your entire financial life is fed by a single river. That river is your job. It flows steadily, most of the time. But what happens if it dries up? A layoff, an illness, a recession, suddenly the river stops, and with it, your entire lifestyle collapses. That's the position most people live in every day. Not because they have to, but because they've never been taught to think differently. Jim Rohn learned early on that if you rely on one stream of income, you're putting your entire future in the hands of one source, and that's dangerous. Rule number 2 is simple but powerful. Don't depend on a single stream. Build many. Jim started with one job, just like most of us. But he didn't stop there. He asked himself, what else can I create? What skill do I have that I can turn into value? What can I build once and get paid for again and again? That's where the shift begins. When you stop trading time for money and start trading value for freedom. Maybe for you, the second stream is freelance work or consulting. Maybe it's writing a book, selling a course, or offering a digital product. Maybe it's a side hustle or passive income from real estate or dividends. Whatever it is, it starts with one simple question. What do I already know that others are willing to pay for? Because the truth is, the marketplace doesn't reward potential. It rewards contribution. If you can solve a problem, entertain, educate, or help someone grow, you can build a new income stream from that value. It doesn't have to be massive in the beginning. Maybe your second stream makes $100 this month. That's not retirement money, but it's proof. Proof that your value can multiply. Proof that your income doesn't have to be chained to a time clock forever. And here's where things really start to shift. As you build more streams, from investments, from businesses, from systems that run without you, you move from earning with your hands to earning with your mind. Most people never make that transition. They stay on the hamster wheel, running faster but getting nowhere, because they never stop long enough to build something that works without them. But the wealthy, they don't have more hours. They just use time differently. They plant multiple seeds. Some will grow slowly, some will fail, some will flourish. But the one with many seeds always has a harvest coming. You see, freedom doesn't come from one paycheck. It comes from options. And every new stream you build is one less thing you have to worry about. So ask yourself, if your job stopped today, how long would you last? What could you start building now that your future self will thank you for? Because real wealth isn't earned once. It's built over time, in layers. And rule number 2 is your invitation to start building yours, one stream at a time. There's a saying that hit me like a bolt of lightning the first time I heard it. And maybe it'll hit you too. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. At first that sounds backwards. We've been taught to grind, to hustle, to pour everything we have into our work, hoping for that promotion, that raise, that shot at success. But Jim Rohn discovered something most people never do. Your income will never exceed your personal growth. Let that sink in. You're not paid for how many hours you work. You're paid for the value you bring. And here's the game-changing truth. Value can grow. And the way to grow it isn't by begging for opportunities, but by becoming the kind of person opportunity chases. So what does investing in yourself really mean? It means taking responsibility for your development. It means reading books that sharpen your thinking, listening to mentors who stretch your mindset, learning skills that solve bigger problems. You see, every new level of growth you reach internally will eventually reflect externally. Rohn's journey began with a book he didn't even want to read. He thought reading was for smart people, for people with college degrees. But when he opened that book, something changed. He realized he didn't need to wait for someone to hand him a better life. He could build himself into the person who could create it. Think about it. One book on communication can lead to a raise. One course on sales can double your income. One shift in mindset can take you from scarcity to abundance. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need to be the most connected. You just need to be willing to grow. Because the marketplace rewards people who bring more to the table. More confidence, more clarity, more leadership, more solutions. And when you invest in yourself consistently, even just a little each day, something incredible happens. You stop reacting to life, you start designing it. This isn't just about money, it's about identity. The more you grow, the more you believe. The more you believe, the more you act. And the more you act, the more life begins to respond to you. So ask yourself, are you spending all your time working in your job while ignoring the one person who can change everything? You. Because rule number 3 is clear. Your greatest investment is not in stocks, real estate, or even business. It's in your own growth. Your future net worth will always rise and fall with your personal development. So feed your mind. Strengthen your skills. Build your character. Because the moment you become more, you will start to earn more, lead more, and attract more than you ever thought possible. Most people want to be wealthy. If you ask them, they'll nod and say, of course. But when you ask them how, the room goes quiet. Their eyes drift. They shrug and mumble, I hope I get a raise. Or, maybe if I start a business one day. Let me tell you something that Jim Rohn said best, hope is not a strategy. Wishing for wealth doesn't build it. Hoping you'll somehow get ahead isn't a plan. And dreaming without direction, that's a recipe for disappointment. That's why rule number 4 is this. Create a clear financial plan. Not a vague idea. Not a random budget that collects dust. But a living, breathing roadmap. One that you check, update, and live by. Because here's the hard truth. You can't manage what you don't measure. If you don't know where your money is going, you're not in control. Your finances are like a ship, and without a map, you'll drift until you crash. Jim Rohn didn't start with millions. He started with humility and a notebook. He sat down and faced the facts. What was coming in? What was going out? What was leaking away silently, dollar by dollar? He tracked every single dollar, not to punish himself, but to take back power. Because when you give your money direction, it starts to work for you. But when you ignore it, it vanishes, quietly, always. A financial plan does something incredible. It turns your wish into a target. It gives every dollar a job. This one pays off debt, that one builds savings, this one goes to investing, and that one buys freedom from future stress. You don't have to be a finance expert to do this. All you need is commitment. Start by listing your income. Then track every expense for 30 days. You'll be shocked at what you find. The streaming service you forgot, the coffee runs that add up, the small purchases bleeding your future dry. But here's the beauty. Once you're aware, you can adjust. You can set monthly saving targets. You can decide how much to invest. You can build a cushion for emergencies. And suddenly, you stop reacting. You start choosing. And let's be clear, this isn't just about cutting expenses. It's about aligning your spending with your goals. Sometimes saying no to a purchase isn't about lack. It's about power. It's you saying, this doesn't serve my plan. And that's real strength. Because the truth is, even a high income can disappear without a plan. And even a modest income can build wealth if it's guided by clarity. So ask yourself, do you know where your money is going? Do you have a plan for what you want it to do? Because rule number 4 is the turning point. Don't drift. Decide. Don't guess. Track. Don't wish. Plan. Wealth doesn't show up by accident. It shows up when you give it a map. Let's be honest, discipline is hard. You start the month strong. You save a little, invest a little, maybe skip that dinner out. But then life happens. A birthday pops up. A sale calls your name. You're tired after a long day, and that voice in your head whispers, you deserve it. And just like that, the plan gets delayed again. That's why so many people struggle with money. Not because they don't know what to do, but because they rely on willpower to do it. Jim Rohn figured out the answer early on, and it's rule number 5. Don't rely on emotion. Rely on systems. Automate your discipline. You see, your emotions are like the weather, always changing. One day you're motivated, the next you're tired. One moment you're frugal, the next you're impulsive. But systems don't get tired. Systems don't forget. Systems work even when you don't feel like it. That's why the wealthy remove decision-making from the equation. They set up automatic transfers. The moment a paycheck lands, money flows into savings, investments, retirement accounts before they even touch it. No hesitation, no debate, no delay. Jim called it paying your future first. Not after the rent, not after the groceries, not after a weekend out, before everything else, because your future deserves to come first. And here's the genius. Once the money is gone, you don't miss it. You simply adjust to what's left. You build your lifestyle around the 70%, and the rest takes care of your freedom. This isn't about restriction, it's about protection. Protecting your future from your moods. Protecting your dreams from your distractions. Protecting your discipline from the days when motivation disappears. Because the truth is, we all have weak moments. But automation lets your strongest self make decisions once and then puts them on repeat. You don't ask yourself every month, should I save this? You already did. You don't debate whether to invest. You already decided. You don't wait until the end of the month to see what's left, because by then there's rarely anything left. And let's be real, that's how most people live. They save what's left, which means they rarely save anything at all. But when you reverse that order, when you save and invest first and spend what's left, that's how wealth gets built quietly, steadily, automatically. So ask yourself, is your financial future protected by habits or exposed to your feelings? Do you have systems in place that build wealth when you're too tired to think? Because rule number 5 is clear. Discipline wins. But automation guarantees the victory. Set it once. Let it run. And let your future grow. On autopilot. There's one resource every person gets in equal measure. Rich or poor. Young or old. Every morning you wake up with the same 24 hours as a billionaire. But here's the difference. The wealthy use time as an asset. Everyone else treats it like a liability. Jim Rohn understood something most people overlook. Wealth is not a race, it's a rhythm. It's not about how fast you go, it's about how consistently you move forward. Not in leaps, but in steps. Daily, weekly, year after year. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to use the ones you already have with intention. The problem: most people delay. They wait for the perfect moment, the right market, the dream job, the ideal opportunity. And in waiting, they lose the most valuable force in wealth building: compound time. Think of time like interest. It compounds. One action repeated daily might look small today, but over a year, 5 years, 10, it becomes massive. Let me show you how this works. Reading 10 pages a day. That's 3,650 pages in a year. Enough to master a skill, reshape your thinking and reinvent your life. Saving $5 a day. That's $1,825 a year. And with interest, it grows far more. One cold call a day. That's 365 new chances to close a deal, build a business, or open a door you never knew existed. But if you skip a day here, procrastinate a week there, push it off again and again, time doesn't wait. It compounds in the other direction, in the form of regret. The wealthy know this. That's why they start small, but start early. They don't wait to have $10,000 to invest. They begin with what they have. They don't wait to be experts to create. They learn as they go, because they understand, every day I wait, I lose a return I can never get back. Time is either your silent partner or your silent thief. It either works for you or disappears behind you. So how do you make time your ally? You build routines that serve your goals. You schedule growth like it matters, because it does. You treat each day like a brick in the foundation of your future. And most of all, you respect the power of small, repeated actions. Because the truth is, wealth is never built in a moment. It's built in moments, stacked, compounded, honoured. Jim Rohn didn't change his life overnight. He changed it one decision at a time, one day at a time. And now it's your turn. So ask yourself, are you spending your time or investing it? Is today getting you closer to the life you want or farther? Because rule number 6 is a quiet secret of the successful. Time is either working for you or against you. Choose wisely. There's something powerful about clarity. When you know exactly what you want, and when you want it, your mind sharpens. Your focus tightens. Distractions lose their power, because now you're no longer wandering. You're aiming. That's what rule number 7 is all about. Set a 90-day money goal. Not, I want to get rich someday. Not, I should probably start saving. No. A real, specific, time-bound goal with a number, a deadline, and a plan. Why 90 days? Because it's long enough to make serious progress, but short enough to create urgency. It forces you to move, to take action now, to stop putting it off. Jim Rohn understood that people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they lack targets. Without a clear goal, your efforts scatter. But with a defined 90-day objective, every step becomes intentional. Let's say your goal is to save $1,000 in the next 90 days. Break it down. That's about $333 a month, or roughly $11 a day. Suddenly, saving that amount doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels doable. Or maybe your goal is to pay off a credit card or earn an extra $3,000 from a side hustle. Whatever it is, don't just set the goal. Track it visibly. Use a whiteboard, a spreadsheet, a wall calendar. Make your progress impossible to ignore. Every dollar saved, every payment made, every new client earned. Each win builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. Because here's the secret most people miss. The goal isn't just to hit the number. It's to become the kind of person who hits goals. This habit of aiming, acting, and adjusting rewires your mindset. You stop wishing and start executing. You stop reacting and start leading. And when obstacles show up, because they will, you don't give up. You don't panic. You review, realign, refocus. That's the power of a weekly check-in. You course correct early instead of drifting for weeks. Now listen closely. This is where most people fall off. They set a goal, but they don't break it down. They get inspired, but they don't track progress. They start strong, then forget what they were working toward. But not you. Because you now understand that wealth is not built through intensity, but through consistency. And a 90-day money goal? It trains your brain to think in terms of progress, not perfection. So ask yourself, what financial target could you hit 90 days from now? What would your life look like if you hit it and then repeated that every quarter? Because rule number 7 is simple but life-changing. Don't just dream wealth. Design it, one 90-day win at a time. We've come full circle, and now it's time to face the final, undeniable truth. Wealth isn't random. It's not reserved for the lucky, the connected, or the chosen few. It's earned, slowly, quietly, deliberately, through consistent, intentional action. You don't build a fortune by accident. You build it by living by principles, not emotions, by choosing structure over impulse, systems over hope. You build wealth the same way you build a strong body, a great relationship, or a meaningful life. One small right decision at a time, repeated again and again. Jim Rohn didn't get rich because he was lucky. He got rich because he learned the rules, and more importantly, he lived by them. Let's recap. Live on less than you earn. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. Build multiple streams of income. Never let your freedom depend on one paycheck. Invest in yourself first. The world pays you what you're worth, so grow your value. Create a clear financial plan. Control your money, or it will control you. Automate your discipline. Build habits that protect your wealth when your motivation fades. Make time your greatest asset. Start now, go steady, and let compound growth do the rest. Set a 90-day money goal. Aim, act, adjust, and repeat until you transform your life. These are not theories, these are tools. And the question is no longer, do they work? The real question is, will you use them? Because your future, the one with less stress, more freedom, and deeper fulfillment, isn't waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for your action. Don't let another month pass in confusion. Don't wait until the bills pile up again to realize something needs to change. Don't promise yourself next year when all you have is today. Start with one rule, one step, one shift in the right direction. Write down your 90-day money goal. Set up that automatic transfer. Cut one unnecessary expense. Read one chapter. Take one bold, clear, committed action now. Because wealth doesn't come to the lucky. It comes to the prepared, to those who show up daily, to those who play the long game, to those who understand that success isn't an event. It's a rhythm. You don't need a new life. You just need new rules. And now you have them. So go. Build something you'll be proud of. Your future is waiting.